Get ready for a dramatic weather flip, one that will have many reaching for lighter layers and sunglasses instead of scarves and gloves. As we enter the first full week of November, the atmosphere is about to deliver a big surprise. After a chilly October that had many bundling up early, a significant warm-up is on the way for most of the United States, bringing a taste of early fall back into the air. Temperatures will feel more like September than November, with many areas seeing readings 10 to 15 degrees above average, and some spots even flirting with record highs for this time of year. This warm, dry pattern will lock in for much of the week, offering a rare stretch of pleasant weather for millions. Perfect for outdoor plans, late-season gardening, or simply soaking up the sun. Outdoor activities are back on the table, and parks and trails are likely to be busier than usual. But not everyone will enjoy the calm. The Pacific Northwest and a few other regions will face a much more active weather story, with rain, wind, and cooler conditions making a return. A strong ridge of high pressure is driving this flip, acting as an atmospheric shield, and pushing the jet stream far north, keeping much of the country dry and mild. This allows warm Pacific air to sweep across the country, making the pattern widespread and persistent, with sunshine dominating from the plains to the east coast. We'll break down which areas will bask in warmth and which will see rain and wind, so you can plan your week with confidence. From the desert Southwest's lingering heat and sun, to the Pacific Northwest's steady rain and gray skies, this week has it all, contrasts that highlight just how dynamic November can be. Let's dive into the details and get you ready for the week ahead, starting today, November 3rd, 2025. There's a lot to cover, and we'll make sure you're prepared for whatever the weather brings. Stay tuned as we walk through the forecast, day by day, highlighting the biggest changes and what they mean for your plans. Whether you're planning to enjoy the sun, get outside with family, or brace for storms and rain, we've got you covered with everything you need to know. Here's what you need to know about this major weather flip, so you can make the most of the week ahead, no matter where you are. The headline this week is warmth. Temperatures will soar far above normal for early November, setting the stage for a truly unusual stretch of autumn weather across much of the country. Cities from the Rockies to the East Coast will feel more like late September, with the central and southern U.S. seeing a prolonged stretch of unseasonable heat. For many, it will feel like summer is making an unexpected encore, with temperatures running 10 to 20 degrees above average in some spots. The desert Southwest, including Phoenix and Las Vegas, could see highs in the 90s. Remarkable for this time of year. These cities are no strangers to heat, but November warmth at this level is rare, and will likely break some daily records. Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas will see widespread 80s, with Dallas possibly reaching the mid-80s. Outdoor events and activities will feel more like early fall than the approach of winter. This dome of warmth expands northward, bringing 70s to the Midwest by midweek. Cities like Chicago, Minneapolis, and St. Louis will all experience a taste of late summer warmth, a welcome change for those not quite ready for winter. The Northeast will be cooler, especially early in the week, but even here, milder air will try to push in. Afternoon highs will climb above average, and overnight lows will be less chilly than usual. New England will stay closer to average, but the broader, warm pattern will still be felt. Even here, residents will notice a gentler, more comfortable autumn than usual. The duration of this warmth is what makes it notable. This isn't a one-day event. Instead, the pattern will linger, giving people several days to enjoy the sunshine and mild air. The high-pressure system is strong and slow-moving, so expect several consecutive days of above-average temperatures. This persistent ridge will keep clouds and rain at bay for much of the week. It's a great time to finish outdoor projects or simply enjoy the sunshine before late November's chill returns. Parks, patios, and trails will be busier than usual as people take advantage of the rare warmth. The extended warmth will define the week for most Americans. From coast to coast, the unusual temperatures will be the talk of the town. Even the Midwest and Southeast will see a rare window of mild, dry weather. It's a welcome break from the usual November chill and gray skies. The Northeast, while not as warm, will still enjoy a break from the cold. Sweaters and light jackets will be enough for most, and outdoor plans won't be hampered by wintry weather. This is a rare, widespread autumn heat event. It's the kind of pattern that reminds us how variable fall can be, and how quickly the weather can change. Make the most of it. these conditions won't last. Cooler air is waiting in the wings, and a return to more typical November weather is just around the corner. Let's see how the precipitation story compares, and whether any rain will break this stretch of sunshine. Warmth dominates, with the sun shining brightly over much of the country, creating a sense of summer in the air even as the calendar moves forward. But the precipitation story is just as striking, with a dramatic split between regions experiencing parched conditions and those bracing for relentless rain. Most of the country will be exceptionally dry, thanks to the same stubborn high-pressure ridge that's not only bringing the heat, but also blocking out moisture and keeping rain at bay. From Southern California, through the plains and into the southeast, expect clear, sunny skies and little to no rain. Perfect for outdoor plans, but tough for thirsty landscapes. However, the Pacific Northwest is the exception. Here, a conveyor belt of moisture will bring repeated rounds of heavy rain, strong winds and mountain snow, making travel and outdoor activities challenging. The jet stream targets this region, steering multiple storms into Washington, Oregon, and Northern California, fueling a wet and unsettled pattern that refuses to let up. The Northeast will see some scattered showers by Thursday, but nothing major, just enough to dampen the streets and remind us that fall isn't quite finished yet. Later in the week, the high-pressure ridge shifts eastward, opening the door for rain to move into the Ohio Valley and southeast, bringing a welcome change for some. Light to moderate rain will develop, gradually spreading into new areas as the weekend approaches, offering relief to parched soils and thirsty crops. This rain will be beneficial for regions that have been dry, helping to revive vegetation and replenish water supplies. The contrast is stark, dry and sunny for most, but wet and unsettled in the northwest, with a sharp dividing line across the country. Watch for changing conditions as the week progresses, as shifting patterns could bring surprises to your local forecast. The pattern will begin to break down by the weekend, with some areas finally seeing a return to more typical weather. Let's look at what's driving these changes, and how the evolving atmosphere will shape the days ahead. The main force behind this week's weather is a powerful ridge of high pressure. Think of it as a mountain of air, causing air to sink, warm and suppress clouds. This leads to clear skies and dry weather for thousands of miles. The ridge will lock in over the central U.S., blocking storms and keeping conditions stable. It acts as a gatekeeper, deflecting moisture north or stalling it off the coast. This is why the warm, dry spell is so persistent. The ridge's strength and position dictate the weather for millions. With no clouds, the sun heats the ground efficiently, sending temperatures well above average. At night, clear skies let heat escape, but the overall air mass remains mild. This process, sinking air, suppressed clouds, and uninterrupted sunshine, creates the defining weather of the week. It's a textbook example of how upper-level features control what we feel on the ground. The result, a rare, stable stretch of autumn warmth. But what about the jet stream's role? Let's find out. The jet stream is key to this week's pattern, flowing far north and allowing warm Pacific air to sweep across the country. This zonal flow keeps cold Arctic air at bay and supports the high-pressure ridge. The main storm track is pushed into Canada, leaving most of the U.S. quiet and warm. The Pacific Northwest, under the jet stream, gets storm after storm. Another factor, the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. The storm's energy release has left the atmosphere more stable and dry, making it easier for high pressure to dominate. This is a great example of how distant weather events can ripple across the globe. The result, a calm, warm pattern for most, with only a few exceptions. Now let's see how the week unfolds day by day. Monday, November 3rd, marks the start of this major weather shift. Across the country, you'll notice the change, sunshine and dry conditions from the Rockies to the East Coast. It's the first of many dry days for much of the nation. In the Pacific Northwest, the story's different. The first in a series of storms brings rain and wind to Washington and Oregon. Residents in Seattle and Portland should prepare for a wet week. Central and southern states enjoy warming weather, with temperatures climbing above average. Dallas and Oklahoma City will see 70s under clear skies, a preview of the heat to come. The Northeast and Great Lakes will also see a quiet, mild day as temperatures rebound. No significant precipitation is expected in these regions. Monday sets the stage, stormy in the Northwest, calm and warming elsewhere. The pattern is just getting started. Let's see how it evolves. By Tuesday, the high-pressure ridge is fully established over the central U.S. sunshine, and dry conditions stretch from the Great Basin to the Appalachians. Tuesday and Wednesday bring peak warmth, 80s across the south, 70s in the Midwest. Some spots in Texas could even reach 90 degrees. Meanwhile, the Pacific Northwest faces relentless rain, wind, and mountain snow, raising flood concerns. The Northeast enjoys mild, dry weather, with 60s in Boston and Philadelphia. The contrast is clear. While the Northwest gets soaked, most of the country enjoys a rare stretch of summer-like weather in November. The pattern holds strong through mid-week, but subtle changes are on the horizon. Let's look at the mid-week transition. Here's what to expect next. Thursday brings the first signs of change, but warmth and dryness still dominate the central and southern U.S. The jet stream remains north, keeping 80s in the south and 70s in the Ohio Valley. A disturbance brings clouds and scattered showers to the northeast, with some wet snow possible in the higher elevations. By Friday, the high-pressure ridge begins to shift westward, opening the door for a trough to dip south from Canada. This change allows moisture to return, setting up rain for the Ohio Valley and surrounding regions. Light to moderate rain develops Friday afternoon, ending the sunny streak for Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, and Tennessee. The ground, dry after a week of sun, will welcome the rain. This marks the start of a pattern breakdown. The extended warmth is winding down for the east. Let's see how the weekend shapes up. As the weekend arrives, the pattern shift accelerates. A trough deepens in the east, bringing widespread rain from the Mississippi Valley through the Appalachians and into the northeast. This rain is beneficial for the southeast, easing dry conditions. The warmth retreats as cooler seasonable air filters in, ending the autumn heat wave. Sunshine and 80s give way to clouds, rain, and cooler temperatures. The Pacific Northwest remains at risk for flooding from relentless storms. The plains and southeast may see drought concerns worsen due to the earlier dry spell. Watch for isolated flash flooding in the east as rain increases. The week began with a stark contrast, flooding in the northwest, dry heat elsewhere. It ends with a transition. Rain returns to the east, and the weather flip comes to a close. Stay weather aware as the new pattern takes hold.